few things about our fantastic voyage, right? Our trip, making the impossible possible, right? Is just having some ideas that a few years ago or a few months before you thought about them looked like crazy ideas, but in the long run, a 5 years project with a big bunch of money, it will make them possible, like this fantastic voyage, like things that we are doing, these nanorobotics, nanoparticles for drug delivery systems. So this journey was, I'm going to tell a couple of things here about my background. It took like 11 years together with the ERC grant. So when I moved from Spain to Japan, then Japan to Germany, when I was in Dresden, I applied to the ERC grant. I got it initially. And here, one thing that I want to tell you that people tend to underestimate is the timing. When do I apply for ERC, right? So I hear many times that I'm not ready enough, I should wait 1 more year. People don't pay into attention that you have 2 to 7 years and then 7 to 12, okay, for the starting consolidator. If you apply when is your last year of the starting grant, remember, if you get it, then you have only one chance to get the consolidator grant, right? So again, what do you want? You want to get maximum of attempts possible for any ERC grant. So I got the ERC starting grant when I think it was like 3 years after my PhD, so it was very early, but still had many chances, right? That's why I could even apply then for the consolidator grant, fail, not even go into the next round because I had to wait. I got B, I didn't go to the interview. So I had another chance to get the consolidator grant. So this timing is very important. So when to apply, don't apply the last year, apply when you are consolidator. Of course, if you have papers as corresponding author, some small projects by your own independent thinking, you can apply for the starting grant right away. You also remember you can apply for well, a couple of proof of concept grants. So it allowed me to move from Dresden to Stuttgart to Barcelona, and then you go into this deep valley, right? With post ERC time, this is tough, and then you need to think about new ideas, new challenges with the new ERC grant, right? So I'm talking about this because there's something we never talk about in this workshop. It's about transferring the money. So you can transfer the ERC and therefore everything you have, right, including the equipment, to one place to another. So I got it, as I said, in Leibniz. Immediately I got an offer from Max Planck Intelligence System in Stuttgart to allow me not only to grow in the number of people, but also to move the money with me. So that opens you many possibilities. And then also, even I move it once more. So the starting grant was moved to 3 different places, and I had an amazing support from the ERC officers. So that's absolutely no problem. It was very easy. The only people who put your difficulties is, of course, your host institution, who does not want you to leave and leave the budget, and include also the overheads that Ruben was talking about. We can leave it for the Q&A, what to do with the overheads and what does it mean, because before anyone told me about overheads, and even me, I mean, from the ERC, I never knew about that. So of course, ERC helps you progressing. Here is the Google Scholar, which indeed is, as a panel member, we do check this. It's very easy to check the progress. So that was the progress of the citations, right, in the first years, and then I'm trying to wondering what happened here. Maybe it is too high, and then checking down the numbers is when I finished the first grant and before I started the second grant. So yeah, it helps because it builds like 5, 6 people in your group, of course, helps publishing papers there. So I was the strange in the room, right, in the starting grant, because being a chemist in bioengineering, biotechnology, but anyway, and now I was the strange one in physics. So it's good to be strange in the room. But don't worry, here the first important point is choose the good acronym. So what do I mean with this? The starting grant, I chose this acronym like LTRBS. So I'm gonna mute someone here. Can you? Yeah, here. Okay. So no one, if you're on a panel, you need to talk about, or they will need to talk about your project for probably 3-4 days. So it's not nice that you have an acronym like this. So that was my first mistake. And this was because I thought that you could only use the capital letters, as you can see here. But then in Consolidator, I chose, I mean, this is very silly, might be, but you don't have to choose the capital letters, so you can play with the names and make something sexy, something appealing that they will remember. Okay, so you can see a big change from one to another. That's the first point. And yeah, when I was in Brussels, people agree with me on that. Some tips: start with a conceptual figure, summarizing your idea, provide generous spaces. I heard many times from my former panel colleagues that they hate when it's fully packed and there's not even space, white space in the project. It has to be carefully written, avoid typos, have clear ideas, present tense word statements, and so on. Do not use excessive bolds, italics, and underline. I'm going to show you what I mean here. Okay, conceptual figure. This was the concept, one technology, two different applications. That's fine. But here there was really bad. So if you see like this, there was the referees complained that it was not reading friendly, lack of coherence, and why do I choose italics? Why is bold? What is underline? Why is this subsections? And so on. So referees did not find any timetable, even though it was there. So it was complicated for them to read. So I had some learning points. Also, I took some decisions that were bad. As I was mentioning before, I decided to change to a completely different project of my Consolidator grant. I wanted to do 3D bioprinting, big robotics. Okay, I had no paper in this field. Actually, we just got the first paper now, 2021. There was new style, new topic, better layout. So what I learned from that is I need to probably make nice logo, more spacing, a lot of boxes, nice schematic, right? You see, you can read much better, but it was not feasible. No paper in the field. So for me, it was even difficult to choose 5 papers. PE5 was not ideal for this project. Actually, we should have gone these two more on robotics, medical devices, probably in a way, but this much of 3 concepts were not in good shape. So I did not pass to stage 2 and should not be considered for funding. So even though they concluded that the PI has an excellent track record, many technical issues were not addressed, and the panel was not convinced that the project would be, again, keyword, feasible. How to show that it's feasible? You have track record in the field, you have good papers, and maybe some projects in that particular topic. So I got some initial frustrations, right? I got these referee reports. I was hating all the comments. I was saying why, they were wrong, but then I left them for a week and I went back to the lab. I said, well, we need to keep working hard and so on. And they were totally right. So there were a lot of challenges here. I'm not gonna, probably that was overlooked some points. The breakthrough nature of the proposal is not clearly spelled out. Of course, it was, as I said, I learned a lot from these keywords here. Should be the biological aspect, not being a biologist. They were easily criticized that should be better analyzed. So let's go to a successful case. So I learned from the better layout. So layout was copied here. Nice logo again. A schematic idea. I'm not doing ants. I'm not doing anything about animals, but I wanted them to remember that we want to engineer some system that can cooperate, they can move together and do some complex tasks. So I thought, what is in nature? As I told you in the beginning, inspired by some of the papers in another field. So why not to have this eye-catchy figure that they will remember? And you will see later that I use the same concept in my interview. So I probably you asked to some panel members, they might remember, like, I don't know, swarming, may remember that the guy of the ants, not doing ants anyway. So I went back to nanorobotics, I went beyond the state of the art. It is feasible because it was my field, and it was novel, high risk. No one probably at that time thought about this. There was no paper about this, and was understandable for them. Okay, so it could be PA8, that's why I'm here, but also it was PA8, but could have been LS9 easily because I was doing some more bioengineering stuff. Okay, table diagram. So what you can also use this concept of using your milestones. Remember milestone, you can put also risk, mitigation risk to do that. If you put in a table, it's easy to find. and it's clearly stated there, and it's also good for you because you can work in different documents at the same time and think about these ideas not in one word. And then on the interview, right? Again, you see, I'm going back to nature, inspired by these very simple slides, keeping within the time, going back to the ants, saying what the state of the art and what I'm proposing. Actually, there's just 1 or 2 slides about my project, where I say this interconnection among the working packages and my team. That's why me, why now, and that's all. Actually, this was like a backup slide. So very important, keep it within the time. It's just, in my case, I had 6 minutes, so it was like 10 seconds extra time. People appreciate this and make it. I talk very fast, so I work hard on talking very slow in my interview, but keep it very, very simple. You don't need to give the details of exactly every particular detail on your project. They read your project. It's just to clarify the concept there. So maybe you have some questions now. I don't want to talk more. I took a very lot of time here, but which question do you expect from the panel members? People ask me more scientific details, competitors, what do you know about this particular field? And then they went a lot in detail actually on the scientific part, and that was a very, very fun conversation, but of course that was a positive case. Right, and if you are well prepared for all these details, just don't be scared. Yeah.